Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds since starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life. And I'm going to come back to that little opening gambit there in a bit. Someone remind me, please, if I forget. I hope you're well. We're well. It's a nice, appropriately brisk day here in my part of the world. Full color on the leaves, which are blowing around and landing on the ground. So I have to do something about that. So today's topic. This comes actually from, again, I've done this a couple of times, from the snippet topic suggestion spreadsheet that exists for patrons of my private Patreon support group. So because every morning, every weekday morning, I make videos about 15, 20 minutes long on a variety of topics, which many of them are suggested by patrons. There's a spreadsheet that I give them a link to. And this came up this week, and it was actually two questions, perhaps asked by the same person, I don't know. But it's possibly something that we've wondered about ourselves. So I thought if one person asks, maybe a whole bunch of people wonder as well. And hey to everybody, I can see names popping in. So here was the way the questions or the topic suggestions read from earlier this week. Why is it harder to lose weight each time you gain it back? And then the next one was, every time I start and fail, am I just ruining my metabolism? Well, I thought these were really good questions. And I think, enough of us have heard about the problems of, hello, Jasmine from Ottawa, of so-called yo-yo dieting. You lose, you gain, you lose, you gain, you lose, you gain. And so does our body just revolt after a while and say, enough, I'm not, you've had your 3 at-bats and you're not losing any more weight. I don't think so. I don't think our body wants us to be unhealthy. Let me give a quick little primer for those of you who may not know the ketogenic protocol as I learned it and as I have practiced it since January 8th, 2014, is one whereby you keep your carbohydrate intake to a level where your liver quits pumping out glucose like a fire hose, glucose being sugar. And when the tap is turned off, our bodies happily switch over to burning ketones or fat for fuel. And body fat is a great source of energy. So that's, and how do you do that? Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day, total carbs, not net. Net carbs just means eating more carbs. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it, but you don't even need a food list. Just eat fatty sources of protein, limited amounts of non-starchy vegetables, limited amounts of full-fat dairy. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated, not stop when you're stuffed. That's it. So that's the ketogenic protocol as I learned it and as I have practiced it, and as I know many other people have found success following. But I've lost weight. I had lost weight through my life, like many people. From about puberty, I became very conscious of my size because other people pointed it out for me, mostly my family members. Older brothers, can I just say that? Occasionally my parents. And we do this. I mean, that was just, a lot of people can relate to this. So I started trying to lose weight, and which was crazy because I was still growing. I was still trying to lose weight as I'm growing, but that's another topic. But in adulthood, it was pretty cute for after I went through puberty and just naturally got a shapely shape and was real cute until my mid-20s. The pregnancy with our second child, our middle child, I put on a great deal of weight and it just never left. So from my mid-20s, and I gained and gained and gained. Mid-20s through my mid-50s, I was at some stage of overweight, obese, or morbidly obese. So for 30 years. But I would try during those times. Tried like we all did, all the things. I never did Weight Watchers because I was not about to get on a scale in front of anyone. By the way, can you guys see and hear me? I usually try to remember to ask that at the beginning. Hello from Clarksville. Okay. Usually Jennifer from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan says, hey, I can see and hear you. Or she writes that. Hey, Dave. 85-degree California. So I tried to move more, eat less. You can see some of the photographs from my life before weight loss at my blog, link below. So I would lose weight, some, not much, and then I'd put it back on, and then maybe some extra to boot. So did I ruin my metabolism? We have been told, illogically, that we have to keep eating every couple of hours to keep our metabolism revved up. Even when I was obese, I wasn't buying that line. I would have loved to have owned the fact that I needed to eat every couple of hours to rev up my metabolism, but it's illogical. If eating every couple of hours revs up your metabolism, why don't we just eat all the time and we can become, super skinny? That doesn't work that way. But metabolism, weight loss, weight gain, weight loss, weight gain. It depends, in my understanding, what weight is lost and how it's lost. You can lose weight on a low-fat diet. You can lose weight on a move more, eat less. You can lose weight on Weight Watchers. You can lose weight on many ways of doing this. But keep in mind, what are you losing? Ideally, we want to lose body fat and we want to retain lean tissue. Lean tissue being bones, blood vessels, muscle, ligaments, cartilage, all this other stuff. We want to retain that. That makes us strong. And I'm happy that I'm strong. But it can happen that if you're on a move more, eat less, you're asking your body to go further on less fuel, and you're not supplying the good fuel. Keep in mind that carbohydrate, which is everything other than fat and protein. So if you're on a low carb diet, if you're on a low fat diet, the carbs take up the space where the fat had been as far as the percentage of the food intake. Carbohydrate is not an essential macronutrient. You do not need to eat any carbohydrate at all for the body to get the little amount of glucose required. Our body can manufacture glucose all on its own, even if you eat zero food. But our bodies must consume fat and protein to get the essential, means we can't make them ourselves, the essential amino acids required for cell health, cell reproduction, maintaining our lean mass, all this. So if you're on a low-fat diet and you're just working out like a demon on the treadmill, asking your body to move, go further on less fuel, and you do lose weight, it's possible you're losing lean tissue. So you lose the weight and then you go back to eating kind of normally because, let's face it, if you're on a low-fat diet, you're probably hungry almost all the time. It's just the way it is. I was. All I could think about was food. So then you refuel, but now you've replaced what had been lean tissue with stored body fat. So you not only put on weight, but you put on fat. More fat than you had to begin with. Does that mean your metabolism's screwed up? No, it means we need to fuel ourselves with food that nourishes our cells and our bodies. And we need to do so in a way where the weight we're losing is body fat. There's a lot of energy in those fat cells. That's what they're there for. They're stored energy. Literally, that's what they're there for. Evolutionarily, they're there for a rainy day, except it never rains anymore. Oh my goodness. I hear critters, squirrels. So no, we haven't wrecked our metabolism, although there's evidence that some of the participants in The Biggest Loser, over time, their metabolism was impacted. Why? Because they were working out 4, 5, 6 hours a day and on a calorie restricted diet. No, it wasn't squirrels, it was Luna. She came running down the stairs. Luna, the decrepit ancient cat. And so they were not getting enough fuel. They were working out. And so does that make sense? Okay, so you're asking, the body says, you're asking me to do all this work, but you're not giving me the fuel I require. Something's wrong here. So I'm going to turn the furnace down. I'm going to conserve all the other things that I can. You go on working out if you're going to. You go ahead and do this, but I need to slow things down because you're not feeding me enough for what you're asking me to do. And it turns out that some of these people, their metabolism remains depressed. It's problematic. How do you avoid this? We eat the way we're designed to eat as a rule. Fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. Our bodies will get the calories required from the fat cells if we're burning fat for fuel. That's all the ketogenic diet is, burning fat for fuel. It's not a weight loss diet. It's not even a fat loss diet. It's a fat burning diet. So that doesn't mean, eat a 96-ounce ribeye every day. That's, by the way, that's 6 pounds of ribeye. Like that movie, The Great Outdoors, the old 96er with John Candy, that steak. Don't eat if you're not hungry. That's fine. Our body will consume body fat. Okay, we'll tap into the body fat stores to get the energy we need. And we can still be quite active. I am quite active and I exercise on the total gym, but I'm burning body fat. I'm not tapping into my lean. I'm actually building lean mass, right? Which I want to do. And I'm fueling myself in a way that allows for that. Now, metabolism does slow down as we age. So if someone says, well, I was on keto 5 years ago and the weight came off so much faster than now, what's happening? Well, you were 5 years younger. Hate to break it to you. But of course we need less fuel as we age. Long ago, I stopped growing taller. Long ago, I stopped revving up my body every month to possibly house a human. Long ago, I stopped doing a lot of things. My body stopped doing a lot of things. Actually, I do more now than I used to. Oh my God, the cat is making me nervous. She's jumping around. By the way, Luna is the living metaphor for if you have it, this is an aside. Stray cats are like, or cravings are like stray cats. If you don't want it to keep coming back, don't feed it. She's 18 years old. She was a stray cat 18 years ago. And she lived in our side yard for 17 and a half years. Then she scooted indoors one day. Anywho. Yes, things slow up as we get older. I require less fuel now than I did 2 years ago. I'm the same. I'm weight stable. I'm about the same weight pretty much for the last 5 years. I require less fuel. Why? Because I'm older. I feel more youthful, but I actually am older. If only my face reflected how good I feel. As this line from Steel Magnolias, time marches on and sometimes it marches right over your face. So there we go. We have not wrecked. And let's not do this. Let's not anticipate problems. Sometimes we go into this looking for the reason it won't work. Let's not anticipate failure. Let's be prepared for challenges. Challenge could be you're older, your metabolism is slower. It could be that since you're older and now you're postmenopausal, or it could be that you're in your 20s and you're living on campus and you're not as active as you used to be, and now there's food courts all around. There can be challenges, but let's not anticipate failure. Let's anticipate challenges and then deal with them. And let's not worry that our metabolism might be slower. We didn't wreck it. If a metabolism was wrecked by going up and down for decades, or actually down and up, down and up, down and up, that's what I did, then I would not have lost any weight. Now, my weight loss, the 97.4 pounds, 3 years. I was thrilled with that. It was okay. It wasn't because I had a slow metabolism. It was because that's a normal rate of weight loss. And I was never hungry. And food is not the boss of me. Okay, speaking of which, Shameless Commerce Division. Just trying to earn my keep, guys. You can see these products either at links to my Teespring shop or at my blog. Some of them my product fulfills, some Teespring product fulfills. Go Keto with Casey, Spiral, 12-month record book. You can get the same version, not Spiral, at Amazon for about $5 cheaper, and you get it faster because Amazon. From my blog, 2022 calendar, filled with stuff and behind-the-scenes photos and little sayings and stuff like that. Steel water bottle. Says Go Keto with Casey. Mug. Lay off the carbs, lay off the excuses, and then my face on the back. And I just designed a couple of things at people request. Will you do a design of so-and-so? So I just did a stainless steel tumbler that says Go Keto with Casey. And then my thumbs up on the back. And a shirt that says food is not the boss of me. I sold out of those when I was product fulfilling them, and I can't get the vendor anymore. So anyway, and a pop socket. Okay, enough of that. And I want to give a plug to patrons, private support group at Patreon, link below, filled with wonderful people. Depending on your pledge level, I do 20 video snippets a month from my kitchen counter with bed hair and no makeup. And now I'm having to make my own coffee because my husband's out of the country. Going up from there, a handful of patron-only live streams on Crowdcast a month, a handful of patron-only video group sessions on Zoom a month. We just had one this morning. And one-on-one sessions with me once a month, depending on your pledge level. Plus a private, secret, hidden Facebook group for patrons only on Facebook. The only good use of Facebook that I have found. And upcoming events, both patron-only and public. You can see it Crowdcast. I put the link there. Wednesday Wine Day this coming week with Amy Berger, my friend. And we were doing virtual Wednesday Wine Days before the recent unpleasantness. We just did Wednesday Wine Days once a month, the third Wednesday of every month. Durham Support Group meeting with Dr. Eric Westman, first Tuesday of every month. I moderate that with him. And Jackie Eberstein and I are doing another installment of Casey's Keto Connections on Crowdcast. Jackie Eberstein. So you can see all the upcoming stuff there. Okay, thank you. Commercial over. Let me turn my attention, put on my glasses, to you lovely folks who are here and commenting. And I'm just going to jump on in the first one I see. Valerie Martini, good morning from Eugene, Oregon. Tammy Bales writes, I'm from Iowa, 61 years old and 86 pounds off as of today. Congratulations. It's been real slow going. This past couple of weeks, had to really concentrate on only eating when I was hungry. And Jasmine Wolf writes, don't anticipate failure. Yeah, I actually said that during a snippet. I think, Jasmine, you're the one that reiterated under the Patreon thing. Don't anticipate failure. Let's not talk ourselves into failure. We can anticipate challenges, and then we can deal with them. Okay, Jasmine Wolf writes, Stockdale paradox. You must maintain unwavering faith that you can and will prevail in the end, regardless of the difficulties. I like that. Was that Major Stockdale? Hippie Crystal Tribe writes, nice to see you again. Hello. And Magic Mia writes, just had my physical. I didn't lose weight, but didn't put on any. Nurse says to me, well, eat breakfast, then a snack, like nuts, then eat lunch, then a snack, then eat dinner. And yes, hand to face. Yeah, why? So why? Why would you eat if you're not hungry? Do you take an afternoon nap if you're not tired? Hey, Gail, scale is moving again. Yay, down 43 pounds. Congratulations. Now, this scale, I'm going to remember what so I open up these videos, how I've lost 97.4 pounds, how you may be able to lose weight, regain your health, and improve your health and regain control of your life. We were just talking about this on the video group session, the Patreon. The scale is like the least important thing. I really should reverse that up. Regaining control, well, improving our health, absolutely. And after we do that, when we're doing that, we can re-enter our own lives. We had quite the emotional chat about it. How you can just start to withdraw from your own life when you don't feel well and you feel like you don't look well. You don't look good, right? So regaining control of our life or re-entering our life is more important than what we weigh. I send out cards to patrons at a certain level about every quarter or so, and I design them and I print them up. And the last one I did was showed a tape measure, and it just said, my girth does not define my worth. I wish I had believed that when I was morbidly obese, but sadly, I did let my girth define my worth for myself. Whether other people, how they were thinking of me, I don't know. I have an idea how some were thinking of me, but no, there's Luna. See what she's doing? She's waiting for me to sit down on that sofa so that she can get on my lap. She feels like I have three functions in this world. Feeding her, cleaning out the litter box. She literally comes inside now to use the litter box, and sitting down so she can be on my lap. But I did, so let's not focus on the scale. If it serves you, if it gives data that helps you make better decisions, great. If it ruins your day, don't look at it. Melissa Hanline writes, my nurse is still fat and I'm less so, just saying. Judy Tucker from Hopkinton, Iowa, who is usually on these, but she might be working, I think it was snowing at the farm. She's lost 130 pounds. Her obese doctor continues to tell her that the diet is no good for her. And Jasmine writes, it was a great chat. Nancy Fennell writes, low and slow, down 135. Wow. Down 135 pounds now, 72 years old, still on this keto train and learning more every day, listening to my body, healthier every day. Don't let an app tell you what to eat. Or how, that's actually one of the things. Don't let an app tell you what to eat or how much to weigh. Our body's the original app. Dave S. writes, Nancy, congrats on your success. No kidding. Slow carb girl, dogs have masters, cats have slaves. I've heard a variation of that. Dogs have masters, cats have staff. Graciela Norris, hi from Rangerville, Texas. Love your chats. I'm so pleased. Nancy writes, thanks, Dave S. and Jasmine. Patricia D, congrats, Nancy. I'm 73 and struggling. And struggling happens. And struggling is not a sin. There is a line from Hoosiers, some of you may know, and I can get rather vulgar when I'm, in private conversation or in looser conversations like with the Patreon close things. But there's a line from Hoosiers where Gene Hatlin's character is told, the sun don't shine on the same dogs every day. Being the chookas. It's not, things are not easy every day. Some days they're more challenging. They're struggling, but that's okay. We've gotten through struggles on a personal level. We've gotten through struggles. Just take 30 seconds. You can probably list 5 major struggles you have survived and conquered. It's not like the struggles weren't there. We conquered them. We can do this. Dave S. writes, keep fighting the good fight, everyone. Judy, hey, Judy. Is it snowing in Hopkinton still? Nancy writes, thanks for the encouragement. Patricia D, I find when I'm struggling, I'm also learning. Hang in there. It works. Frankie A. writes, hi, Casey from New Jersey. Melissa Hanline writes, what would fix, air quotes, a broken metabolism better than eating real food? What more proof do we need than smiling faces on smaller, healthier bodies? I love that. Andrea L. writes, my doctor is supportive about keto. His nurses are not. When I make an appointment, I will not see the nurses. Well, fortunately, nobody gets a vote on what you do. And Are the nurses perhaps a little pudgy? Perhaps. It is rare when I see people in the medical field that a large percentage of them are not overweight. And I don't judge. But there are medical providers in the Patreon group who are under the same or more stress than some like nurses working in a doctor's office. Oh, it's so hard and stress, and people bring in donuts, and yet we ultimately make our decisions. Lay off the carbs, lay off the excuses. Sounds harsh, but sometimes we need a little reality check. Melissa Hanneline, do they have to see you walking by? Don't care. Don't cast your pearls before swine, but wear them well. Mona Tufan, how are you? Oh no, you have COVID nowadays, though I got the vaccine. Me and my husband both. We try to keep on low carb, but not in keto levels. So sorry. Mona is in Istanbul. Hopefully you're not, the vaccination doesn't prevent COVID, as we know. It hopefully prevents or minimizes the symptoms and hospitalizations and deaths. So take care of yourself. And I knew it was cast, Melissa. Okay, and Judy writes, it's just cold in Hopkinton, Iowa. So I was bragging on you before. Does anyone have any questions or for me personally? Again, I'm not a medical provider. I'm not a researcher. I'm pretty well read, and I have access to some really smart people who are experts. And I think almost, 90% of what we've been told over the last 50 years, we can just chuck out the window. It's just wrong. Not only not correct, sometimes it's the antithesis of what is correct. Jasmine Wolf writes, what do you do when you travel in airports? Okay, so I haven't traveled since COVID. My husband has traveled a lot. Are you talking about food? Because I will pack him up with a couple of things. But the nice thing is, even on long days of travel, when you're burning fat for fuel, it's not an emergency. When you're a sugar burner, getting hangry is a thing. Your brain is calling for more glucose because glucose cannot be stored in the blood. So, our brain uses more energy than anything else in our bodies. And so since it can't be stored, and if the brain is burning glucose as its primary fuel instead of burning ketones, if it has not made that flip, then about every 2 or 3 hours, the brain is going to say, get me some more glucose, which means get me some more carbs. When you're burning fat for fuel, it's not that important. But, we are frugal. So my husband will resist in an airport buying a $30 hamburger without a bun and no fries. So a $30 patty of meat. But, you could take things with you. String cheese, hard cheese, beef sticks, beef jerky. I wouldn't suggest taking boiled eggs. People on the plane may not appreciate that. Okay. Lynn W. writes, I'm trying to figure this whole portion out. This whole portion, what is that? I'm sorry? Any connection between keto and diverticulitis? No, this question has come up with Dr. Westman at the Durham's Pork Group meetings. And he said, no, not really. Of course, diverticulitis can be exacerbated by eating grains and nuts, neither of which are on page 4. I couldn't have done this without your great advice and inspiration. I don't know about that, Judy. Lynn writes, I keep hearing about high protein, and I'm just wondering, what is the proper way to calculate the high, moderate fat? I do like to measure and track food. Well, if you like to measure it, fine. It's not required. Protein tends to be, it's NOADOS. There's a formula for it, but it is so variable as to be useless. Protein will kind of be self-regulating because we can tend to feel unwell if we've overconsumed protein. Just eat the fat that comes with the protein. Eat the yolks with the eggs, the fat with the ribeye, the fat with the bacon, the fat with the pork chop, the poultry with the skin. Keep the carbs low, and the rest will kind of figure itself out. If you like to track, you like to track, but you're going to have to figure that out for yourself, because the protocol, as I learned it, does not talk about grams of protein or grams of fat or calories or time of day eating. Just 20 grams of carbohydrate or fewer a day, total, not net. Esmeralda Lopez, how can I get back on track after taking corticosteroids? I gain weight and have sugar cravings. So frustrating. Thanks in advance. That's tough. Steroids are tough. And you're just going to have to take it one mouthful, one decision, one moment at a time. And you can get back to where you were. Several people in our group have had to go through steroid treatments for different things. Candace Vader, hey, I'm trying to get over the lingering effects of food poisoning and found that keto helped by fasting for long periods between the food. Laura van der Gouten, van der Gupten, God bless you and yours. You're such a doll. Thank you. Okay, Melissa writes, I had surgery this summer to correct it. The surgery was less painful than the problem was. When? Okay. I can't answer that question, Anita. And I am actually going to take this opportunity to wind down. Got things to do today. It's a nice busy day. And thank you for allowing me to be part of your Saturday. Just remember, keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day, total, not net. Don't eat if you're not hungry, and stop when you're satiated. Let's try not to overthink this. We make it more complicated than it needs to be. Us humans are weirdos. Christina Polischik, hello. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Be sweet. Just don't eat sweets. Ciao, Bella.